when the signs are all pointing true. If it's the last thing I'll ever do, I'm gonna break through to you. Hey, in 3 minutes time, I could turn the whole world around. My door's wide open now, come on in. Sit right down and let this show begin. I'm gonna break through to you. It's a fact, not a point of view. If it's the last thing I'll ever do, I'm gonna break through to you. I'm gonna break through to you. I'm an acquired taste, not for those who just want copy paste. I say life forgiving what you've got. So now tell me, are you coming or not? I'm gonna break through to you. It's when the signs are all pointing true. If it's the last thing I'll ever do, I'm gonna break through to you. I'm gonna break through to you. It's a fact, not a point of view. If it's the last thing I'll ever do, I'm gonna break through to you. Yeah, I'm gonna break through to you. I'm gonna break through to you.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to our weekly Wednesday webinar. We have a very special one for you today because it is business planning season. Yes, it is. We're going to get you prepared for your business planning right here. So before we get started, a little bit to let you know about our intrepid Director of Operations for Breakthrough RE, Ms. Robin Keeley is here. Say hi, Robin.
Hey, everyone.
Awesome. So she is going to be monitoring the chat because sometimes when I'm kind of going through stuff, I can't quite see it like she can. So she's going to be doing that for us. And then I'm going to be taking us through some really cool stuff. By the way, before we get started, I just want to share with you guys that may not know who I actually am. So my name is Kole Finley, and I am a business performance and transformational coach and trainer, and the owner of Finley RE Coaching and Consulting. I began my real estate career in 2009. I'm a former Keller Williams CEO and team leader. I'm a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner. I'm an instructional designer. I was Rookie of the Year my very first year in real estate. I sold 36 transactions my first year. Over 20 years of experience as a course creator, a trainer, and a coach. I am the chief architect of our Breakthrough RE Facebook group and the 12 Weeks to Breakthrough training and coaching program. So that's me in a nutshell. All right. Hey, do me a favor. Got a lot of you here today. So excited. Tell me where you're from. Do me a favor. Chime in, say, where are you from in the country? Because we have people all over the place. Tell me where you are. I got a lot of you guys on here today. I love it. Oh, Seattle, Washington. Always love Seattle. Fantastic. Oh, Scottsdale, Arizona. Hey, Tom, see you. Good to see you. Terre Haute, Indiana. Fantastic. Hi, good to see you, Penny. Hey, Diana's from Bakersfield, California. Great to see you, Diana. Always love it. Hey, you guys are really chiming in. Love it. Love it. Linda is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We got coast to coast here, guys. So exciting. And I'm really just happy that you guys are taking your time out. And I got to tell you, I also have to really acknowledge you for the fact that you are really leaning into your business. It is good to start getting prepared for business planning. Now, just to let you know, hey, Rick, how are you doing? Good to see you from Visalia. I think I'm saying that right. California. Fantastic. Just to let you guys know, business planning and a business planning workshop really can take 2 full days to go through. So my goal today is to really give you an introduction to the parts that will be going into your business plan. So we're going to kind of go in there, and then what I'm going to do next week, so this is the first of 2-parter. Next week, we're actually going to be deep diving and helping you understand the numbers. You know, you've all heard that thing. You got to know your numbers, right? Everybody needs to know their numbers. Here's the challenge that so many agents actually don't know what those numbers are supposed to be. So we're actually going to deep dive into those so you actually know those numbers. Now, at the end of our presentation today, I am going to share with you a little bit of how you can actually do a monster deep dive business plan. So we'll come to that at the end. Hey, Melissa, Sarasota, Florida, and Bonnie from Alexander City, Alabama. I love it. I love it. And Thomasia, fantastic. We are recording it. So you are good to go, as a matter of fact. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to jump into this then. So the first question I always like to ask is, what is a business plan? Now, actually, this is interesting because a lot of agents don't really know what a business plan is. So really, if you take it at its center, and this is a definition from the Oxford Dictionary, it says a business plan is a document setting out a business's future objectives and strategies for achieving them. Pretty simple. It's simple, but a lot of agents have never even been exposed to how to create a business plan, or maybe you guys have really been exposed to a business plan, and this is just a reminder. So we're going to go into a lot of those parts today. And I do want to chat with you a little bit about why you need a business plan. So why do you think you need a business plan? What do you think you need it for? Any ideas from you guys? What do you think? Type it in the chat for me. Let's see what you think as far as what a business plan is there to do for you. Yeah. Here's the thing, to structure your day-to-day activities, absolutely, to measure your progress throughout the year. Good. Keep business on track. You were so right. Keeping business on track. You guys have it. Stay on target. I love that. All of you guys are correct. Let's go into a little bit deeper though. The first thing it's going to be is to create a clear vision for what you want to accomplish in 2023. It's making sure that you've got a clear vision for that. The next thing is to help create a financial plan that supports that vision. So now we've got a vision. Now we want to have a financial plan that supports that vision. Then we want to create a strategic plan that supports the financial picture. And we want to create an action plan to carry out the strategy. And that leads to you living your best life. So these are the things that we are really going to talk about today, all of these particular pieces. Now, here's what we know. Without a business plan, agents are at the mercy of the current market. Has anybody here been at the mercy of the current market besides me? I tell you what, that happens so often with people when we don't have that plan. Yeah, Trina, I hear you. I saw your hand raised. Outstanding. I hear you. So agents have no control over their financial picture. Guys, I talk to agents every single day, and this is the biggest, scariest thing they have going on right now is their financial picture. Why? Because the market is course correcting. That's exactly why it is course correcting. So when we don't have a plan and things change, that really helps murky our waters for our financial picture. Agents have no focus and ultimately veer off course, wondering where their next commission will come from. Anybody been there before? Sure. And have you ever done this? You have a closing coming up and you're counting those dollars, and boy, do you need those dollars. And the next thing you know, the deal falls apart. Ever had that pain happen before? You better believe it. And so what happens is you start using willpower to get focused instead of strategy. I'm going to tell you what that is in just a second. And then finally, agents ultimately ride the dreaded roller coaster of business. Let me share with you what that actually is. Okay. So here's what happens. Let's say it's the beginning of the year and you get yourself all pumped up and you really start lead generating and your business starts picking up like crazy to the point where you start creating some business. And then you get so busy with that business that you stop really working on the business and building the business. So your business starts falling off. And then all of a sudden, you now are at the mercy of the market or whatever, and your money's not coming in. So what do? You put your willpower in place and you just say, I'm going to suck it up, buttercup, and you start lead generating again. Awesome. And of course, that's going to give you, you've got more business, at which point you can't lead generate or acquire clients anymore, and your business goes down. And then it's bad news again. And then you go up, and then it's good. And then you go down, and then it's bad. You're riding this roller coaster to the point you get to the end of the year and you're sitting there crying in your cornflakes. Our job when we have a business plan is to really make sure that we are creating a sustainable business that's replicable, that we have strategy behind it. So now you really can depend on the business. And that comes by getting very, very focused. We want to make sure, I had a client say this yesterday. She thinks her business is kind of a kaleidoscope. And I said, how about we turn that into a lens? We get very focused on what the business is. So it was a very clever thing she said. So I thought that was great. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I want to take you, first of all, through the 8 parts of a real estate agent's business plan. Does that sound good? All right, we're going to get started on there. The very first thing, you guys have heard this term before, I know, your big why. Do you know what's really interesting? I talk to a lot of agents and they actually don't know what that is. So I want to simplify that for you in just a second. I think that's going to be a little bit more helpful. The next thing is your personal financial goals, your business financial goals, and they are different. Your client acquisition path to profit. By the way, the client acquisition path to profit is what we're going to really deep dive into next week. So when we come to that, I'll give you a sneak peek. That's kind of cool. Your strategic plan, your action plan, your operational needs analysis and plan, and then finally, your financial budget and tracking plan. So these 8 parts, and they may be different than you see in other business plans. Like if you Google business plans, you're going to find anywhere between 5 and 10 different parts in the plan. This is really what I've come to discover are the most important pieces of a business plan for a real estate agent. And I think when you can really dial in these 8 pieces, you can start having a plan that you can really rely on for the next year for sure. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, that wonderful elusive, your big why, funding the life you desire. So I'm going to simplify this for you just a little bit. This is what I call it. Your big why is, in its simplest form, a statement that describes what success will look like for you, your family, your loved ones, and on a personal level by the end of the year. Pretty simple. So what or who are you doing this for and why? Let me give you an example of that. Here we go. For example, in 2023, I want to get out of debt and create some financial peace, take 3 family vacations, begin my 5-year wealth building plan, and pay for my son's college tuition and housing for the year. Pretty simple, right? It doesn't have to be this big esoteric thing or what's my big why? I want to change the world. I want to change lives. Really what it comes down to. This is really your important goals of what you want to achieve. These are the things that when you wake up in the morning, these particular things will drive you every single day. These are the things that will drive you. Okay. So does that make sense? If that makes sense, type in big Y in the comments for me, will you? If that makes sense, because what we want to make sure of is we understand that it's not this crazy out thing. I love it. Big Y, why? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that so much. Okay. So now let's really get into number 2, your personal financial goals. All right. Now, we are not going to be calculating these today. We will be calculating some of these things next week. Having said that, I want to give you some framework that you can go home and do some homework on. Is that okay if I give you some homework? And this will be stuff that you will basically want to bring back with you next week. All right. Fantastic, Linda. Thank you for saying that. That's fantastic. Okay. The first thing is there are 5 basic categories in your personal financial goals. The first one is your bills. Now, when we understand your finances on a personal level, we start off with bills. And here's the thing, bills. Bills are the money that you have just to keep the roof over your head, the electricity on, food on the table, the cable bill going, it's the things that you kind of need to, you're obviously you guys for internet. I'm sure you're doing business from home. You got to have your internet. But it's not going to be all the extra stuff. This is really just the stuff that your family needs to survive. So example, it's not going to have vacations in it. It's not going to have dining out. It's not even going to have the kids' soccer practice. It's not going to have any of the extras. It's just the stuff that you need to really keep your life moving forward. All right. Then the next thing, of course, and here's the thing, when I talk to agents every day, what they don't have is savings. Okay, absolutely. By the way, Paul, yes, we are recording this. So we will be posting about that on the group tomorrow. We'll get that video up and you can simply just request that video again. So absolutely, you've got it. All right, so savings. So many agents do not have savings. Now, what is the amount of savings that you should have in your account? What's the rule of thumb? What do you think? How much savings should be in your account? Just put that in the comments. Trina says 6 months. Great. Zane is saying 6 months. Sure. Absolutely. Anybody say a year? At least a year, says Diana. Absolutely. Here's the thing. Savings should be a minimum, in my opinion, of 1 year, especially in a correcting market, of 1 year to pay your bills. This is not in the extra stuff. Savings is a year of your bills, or savings could be 6 months of all of it if you want to, because some of those things you can back up. So savings 6 months to a year, and you want to get really, really good at it, do it 2 years. Just saying. But knowing that number of savings. The next thing is investments. Investments are the things that you put money into so your money makes money. Putting money into so your money makes money. Now, one of the very best investments ever of all time, always has been, the number one thing is real estate. Now, I have a question for you. This might be an interesting one for you. When you go on a listing appointment, what do you think the first question should be to yourself when you go on a listing appointment? This one is interesting because most people, when they go on a listing appointment, they think they're there to try to sell that house, and they're going to market it, and they're going to price it, and they're going to do all those things. What if I told you that when you are running a really spectacular business, that the first question you ask yourself is this a house that I want to invest in? And you think about buying it yourself first. Interesting, huh? This is really where we start thinking in terms of building a great business, and you start really having the money for investments. You might be flipping that house, you might be holding that house. Okay. Or you may decide, nope, this isn't a great investment for me. I'm going to go ahead and list this property. So I just want to plant that seed for you right there, that may be a question that you can ask yourself. Okay. All right. And number 4, fun. Okay. This is all the extra stuff. This is vacations, dining out, that wonderful pair of shoes that you want to buy, going to the movies, the kids' soccer, all the extracurricular things that you do would really be inside of here. By the way, we would also say inside of here, extra things like, and you could do it either way. You could either put in here, for example, paying for kids' college fund, or you could put that under bills. Either one can work, and college fund should probably be under bills anyway, just because those are things you really want to save up for the kids. But this is all the fun stuff, that amazing purse that you want to buy, ladies. I know you've always got your eye on that. I do too. There we go. And then finally, this one, and this one's optional, charitable contributions or tithing. Now, here's your homework then. This is the first part of it. You want to go back and you want to sit down and make that list, and the amounts either per month or per year. It's up to you which one you do. We're going to do both calculations next week, but basically, how much are your bills? How much in savings do you want to save? And by the way, you're going to look at what savings you have, and we're going to look at the difference. If you don't have any, then we're going to look at that full 6 months to a year. If you do have some, we're simply going to look at the difference. And remember, that's 6 months to a year of your bills. Take a look at your investments. How much do you want to invest this year? And it might be in real estate. It might be in all sorts of different things. We've got another video that we've done on those kind of things. What kind of fun? How many vacations do you want to go on this year? What kind of things do you want to do your family? Do you have date night every single week? Maybe those things. And then finally, how much do you want to give away to charity? So put those numbers together before next week. Now let's jump into the next one. And this is going to be your business financial goals. Now, some of the terminology I'm going to use in just a minute, some of you may be aware of and you may not be aware of. Okay. So I'm going to go kind of a high level overview of them, and we'll go a little bit deeper next week. But this is one that may take a little bit. You may want to sit down with me and really kind of understand and go over these on a one-to-one. I don't have like a full day to kind of go through all these together, but I am going to give you at least the basics. So there are 5 basic categories in your business financial goals. So the first one is net profit. Here's the thing. Net profit is like the paycheck that you used to take home from that job. It's after everything is paid. It's after the taxes are paid. It's after everything. It is your net profit that you get to go and use to fund that life that we were just talking about. It's funding that particular life. Now we then go to net income. Net income basically includes those taxes. So now it is your net profit plus your taxes. Then we have cost of sales. Now, this is where it gets a little confusing because we have cost of sales and expenses. So let's talk about the difference between the two. Cost of sales is the money that you spend only if you have a closing. Okay, only if you have a closing. So this would be any commissions you're paying out. If you have a split with your office, that would be that. If you're paying your E&O insurance out of closings, it's that. Anything that you would pay out of closing, that is what that would be in there. Now, expenses are different. Expenses are the money that you spend regardless of having a closing or not. Now, a lot of times people say, well, should I put like my photography and my staging and things in cost of sales? The answer would be no. That would actually go under expenses because the home may not sell. So expenses are everything from your realtor dues, if you're a realtor, to your continuing education classes, to your MLS dues, perhaps to gas in your car. It would be the marketing that you put together. It might be the technology that you spend. There's a lot of things that go into those expenses. Those are different than your cost of sales. And then next is going to be your reserves. Reserves are the savings account for your business. So that would be, what do you think? 6 months to a year of your expenses. Not the cost of sales, but 6 months of the year to your expenses. Okay. What kind of questions do you have on that? Is that making sense? Type in AYE, if that makes sense to you. These last 2 things. I think they make sense. I'm going kind of fast here. Are you guys grabbing it? Okay, awesome. Awesome. Oh, fantastic. Okay, you guys are getting it. Whoo, you are on fire. Love you guys. Okay. Now, I'm going to start into what we are going to be talking about next week. So this is going to kind of go over some of you guys' heads. I get that. Just stick with me. We will be covering this in more detail next week, but I think you're going to understand the concept that we're going through. Okay. So this is called the client acquisition path to profit. So when we think of path to profit, we start with the end in mind, and that end in mind is going to be the profit that you want to have. We can't have profit unless we have GCI, gross commission income. We can't have GCI unless we have closed sales. We can't have closed sales unless we've taken seller listings or we have buyer agency commitments. We can't have those unless we've held appointments, and we can't have appointments unless we have generated leads. Pretty simple, right? This is the flow that we're going through. Now, what we're going to be working through next week, it starts off then with our lead generation pillars. Our lead generation pillars. What I'm going to suggest that you guys do, and this might be some homework that you want to take on. We definitely teach this to our coaching clients. Go back through your last 2 or 3 years. Make a list of all the closings you had, and then make a list of where all those clients came from. All the closings you had and where they came from. For example, were they your sphere of influence? Were they from an open house? Were they from social media? Were they from an event that you did? List all those out. And then what you're going to do is tally up where they came from. Your top 4, you'll have number one that'll be clear. By the way, a lot of times your number 1, you didn't realize it was even your number 1 until you do this exercise. Kind of cool. So you'll have your number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are your lead generation pillars. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to, in these next 2 sessions, really get into the whole lead generation piece of a business plan. I'm going to touch on a few things that you can do right now, but that's going to be a bigger conversation for you to have. Now, from your lead generation pillars, we're going to be setting appointments based on that lead generation. Now, going from an appointment to taking a listing or a buyer agency commitment, there's a conversion percentage. So for example, it could be from every appointment that you go on, you might close, or you might have a seller listing signed or a buyer agency agreement signed 75% of the time. That would be a conversion rate. So then, of course, we have that listing taken. There's a conversion ratio then between that and your closed sales. So from the time you take the listing, the time it gets closed, what percentage of the time does it close? Sometimes people will say, well, it's 100% of the time. Well, sometimes buyers fall out, sometimes sellers fall out, something happens. So it probably is not always 100% of the time. So it's understanding that. Then from going from closed sales into GCI, we have to make sure that we've got a certain dollar amount that is coming from that. Are you giving away the farm on a lot of things? So are you really running a business and being able to negotiate enough so you've got some great GCI? And then finally, we get to profit. How are you running your business? And do you have the very best profit available for you? So this is what we call the path to profit. All right. Now, here's some homework for you again. So we already have your personal financial numbers that you want to have. You have your business financial numbers you want to have. And here's what you want to take a look at. We are going to calculate out, and I'm going to show you how to calculate out going from profit all the way back to the number of appointments that you need to go on to be able to hit that profit. What do you think? Would that be a really cool calculation to know how many appointments you need to go on? Type I in the comments if that would be really, really cool for you guys to be able to do that calculation. It's so fun too. I love it. I love it. You guys are really going to dig on it. Now, here's something to understand. It's numbers. And some of you guys don't necessarily love doing the numbers. Here's the thing I'm going to remind you of. You're running a business, and getting good at those numbers is going to be important for you to really run a great business. Okay. So these numbers we are going to calculate next week. All right. So now I want to introduce you to something called your strategic plan. This is a big part of your business planning. I'm going to do a high-level overview of it right now. However, if it's something that you'd really like to deep dive into, just reach out to me, and we can always set up some time to talk about how to put this together. Okay. So this is called a strategic plan. Now, the strategic plan has a format. And the first format is going to, what is your wildly important goal? And that's kind of like your big why. And basically what that is, it is your goal you created on your path to profit. This should be big enough to create excitement and even scare you a little. Yes, indeedy. It is the goal that you would be most proud to attain. So when we're talking about, when we create your path to profit numbers, and that really is your closings, your GCI, the profit that you want, those are the important pieces. Now, then what we're going to do is we're going to break that into 4 primary strategies. We want to get very clear. This is where things come into focus. And so in those primary strategies, these will be the top 4 strategies that will drive your focus and activities to attain your wildly important goal. Okay. No problem, Adele. We are so glad that you were with us. You can catch this up later on. Thanks so much. I'm glad you were here with us. Then from our primary strategies, we're going into tactics. Now, tactics, each strategy that you have will have 3 to 5 specific actions, or what we call tactics, that you will take for each of the strategies. So let me just show you what this looks like. Okay. So we have our wildly important goal, and let's pretend that our wildly important goal was to close 27 transactions to achieve 393,000 in GCI for a net profit of 200,000 in net profit. Would 200,000 net profit be okay for everybody? Would that be good? I'm kind of liking that whole 200,000, maybe 300,000. I don't know. You get to pick. It's a good thing. So you get to decide what that is. Now let's pick our strategies. So say that our strategies were sphere of influence. So 6 closed listings, 5 closed buyers with 200 contacts added to the database. How about open houses? Maybe that's another one of our strategies. So I'm going to say I want 3 closed listings, 8 closed buyers with 200 contacts added to the database. How about social media? 3 closed listings, 2 closed buyers with 100 contacts added to the database. And then maybe my last thing is going to be a growth plan. So I want to build up my operations team. I want to build leadership skills, and I want to build negotiation skills. So these could be the strategies that I want to put together for my business. Now let's look at what tactics can look like. So we'll just look at sphere of influence. So let's say that in that sphere of influence, I want to implement a 13-week connection cycle. That is a whole very cool thing that we teach in our 12 Weeks to Breakthrough program. Host quarterly affinity events. Again, all the things that I'm mentioning, we actually teach in our program. Biannual equity evaluations, weekly newsletters with drawings, monthly pop buys for your A and A+ clients, open houses. And you see, I won't read through all of these, but what you guys can kind of see is that each of those things have particular strategies that have tactics behind them. So for example, if open houses, one of my strategies, tactics would be like holding 4 open houses per month. Okay. Social media, again, there are plans around social media as well as growth plans. So let's say on growth, I wanted to take an NLP practitioner training, or I wanted to take the 7 Habits for Managers course with Stephen Covey, right? So all of these things strategically give you the focus that you need, because you don't want to color outside the lines. Once you have the strategy plan put together, this will guide you for the rest of the year. Now, I will tell you that you want to look at it at least monthly, just to make sure you're staying on track. Now, that's the plan. That's a strategy plan. Now, there is a second part, which is called your action plan. And with the action plan, that puts the strategy plan in motion. So here's how this could look. First of all, you have your annual wildly important goal. So this is your wildly important goal from your strategy plan that we saw just a minute ago. Then we have this month's must do goal. For example, these are the things that must be accomplished in order to stay on track for your annual wildly important goal. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. Then you have your weeks, and these are things that must be accomplished during each week in order to stay on track for your monthly must-do goals. So let's take a look at this.
Hey, Cole.
Yeah,
Linda was asking if they can have a printout of the charts.
of the ones that I'm showing you right now, I tell you what, Linda, I do like to go through these one-on-one with you. So all you have to do, and I'm going to show you how to connect with me later. Feel free to reach out to me and we can connect and I can kind of go through them. What I don't like to do is do it at a high level because it's really important to understand the methodology and the process behind it. So I'm giving you a real high level overview right now. I definitely do want to kind of help you deep dive into that a little bit. Does that make sense, Linda? Is that okay? Okay, so here's how this works then. You bet, thank you. So here's how this works. We had our wildly important goal, which is 27 transactions to achieve 393,000 GCI to receive 200,000 in net profit. So let's say then that this month, in order to achieve that, I need to host 6 open houses. Remember, my goal on my strategy plan was 4 open houses, but this time I need to catch up. So I put 6 open houses. I need to launch my new Facebook group. I need to create 5 videos for social media, take master certified negotiations courses, and then add 50 new contacts to the database. So how do I break that up? Then I go, okay, week 1, I'm going to schedule the open houses, create the videos. As you can kind of see, you go through, you'll post Spectrum neighborhood marketing update, create a schedule equity evaluation meeting for the month. By the way, Spectrum neighborhood, that's actually just the name of a neighborhood. That's not an actual like platform or anything. So just, I know that might be a little confusing. And again, we're just going to go through each of these and you're going to see that there is plan and tactics that are going into each of these. This is the action plan that you look at every single day. Now, the cool thing is that at the end of the month, you're going to create your strategic plan for the next month, or you're at least going to make sure you review that so you can look at your action plan. I'm sorry, I said strategic plan is action plan. So you can look at your strategy plan. You're going to create your monthly action plan. And then every week, you're going to review what happened that week. And I used to do this on Sundays. What happened that week, and then you're going to prepare for the next week. By the way, here's a phrase that I want you to learn. If you erase, you must replace. If you erase, you must replace. So just make sure that when you're going through and you're creating those action plans, for example, let's say that I was supposed to create those 2 videos on week 1 and I didn't do it. You better believe if I erased it there, I didn't get it done, I've got to put it on a following week. Okay. Is this making sense for everybody? Say yes in the comments if this is making sense so far. I know this is a lot. I'm giving you guys a lot today so far. Gotcha. Love that. Ooh, Trina, let's see what Trina said. Trina, it's important that Kole helps you find the strategies that work for you. I had strategies that were not producing, and we discovered that I had things listed only because I thought that that was what I should be doing. Once we adjusted my strategies to match my strengths and my business grew. So Trina's one of my clients. We've been working together for a while. She's amazing. She's one of those people who has tripled your income since we started working together, Trina. Yep. I thought she's tripled it. By the way, guys, that's the one thing that I am so humbled and proud of, is that the people who work with us usually double or triple their business in the course of working with us. So exciting. So thank you for that, Trina. I so appreciate you. By the way, I haven't asked her yet, but I'm gonna ask her. Maybe Trina, you could do a one of these weekly Wednesday webinars where we just interview you. You can kind of talk about people and what your successes have been. Would you be cool with that? I'm asking you in front of everybody. I hope you say yes. Love that. Thank you. She says, I would love to. Okay. I appreciate that. Okay. So now let's move on. And we're going to go now to our number 7 in our business planning phases. That is your operational needs analysis plan. Now, we did an entire webinar on this 3 weeks ago, I want to say. So I'm going to go pretty quickly with this. You can always find this particular one on our YouTube channel. If you don't know where our YouTube channel is, just go ahead and message us or just post that in the Facebook group and we'll get that over to you. So here's basically what we know. This is the life cycle of a client that comes into your world. This dotted line right here is the point at which they get serious about buying or selling a home. Everything to the right of that line takes about 7 to 12 weeks. So from the time they get serious to the time they close on that house, which is that big dotted line, that big dot right there, that takes 7 to 12 weeks. And we call that process contract to close. I know you guys are really good at this particular piece. Now, over here on the right-hand side, this line right here, everything to the left of that, that is going to be client acquisition. Those are all the activities that you are doing to acquire a client. Lead generation is in there, branding is in there, the marketing that you're doing is in there. All of those things are part of your client acquisition. Then in the center right there, that is client cultivation. If you'll remember, if you saw the video a few weeks ago, that is anywhere between 5 and 10 years. So the point at which someone comes into your world, remember, they might be buying or selling a house every 5 to 10 years. So you're staying in touch with them the entire time. So important. Now, there's only ever 3 phases that someone is in. It's going to be either client acquisition, client cultivation, or contract to close. Now, when we are talking about your operational needs analysis and plan, it comes down to understanding your strategies for your client acquisition, your client cultivation, and your contract to close, your systems, processes, and technology for your client acquisition, client cultivation, and contract to close, and then the support that you need for your client acquisition, client cultivation, and contract to close. This is where we discover your gaps and we start understanding where you need to fill in those gaps. Again, I'm going real high level for you guys here, so I hope you're kind of sticking with me on it. But basically is really understanding all of these parts in your business to run a business as a business. So let's go in now to the final phase, and that is your financial budget and tracking plan. This is so important. This is how you are managing your money. Now, there are 4 foundational financial documents that you should always have in your business. I will guarantee you that most agents I speak with do not have these. And that's okay. By the way, everything I'm telling you right now, it's okay that you don't know these things. If you haven't been exposed to them, you weren't born magically with the real estate gene that automatically taught you how to automatically do all these things. And by the way, some of you do know these things. Some of you might be really great at running your business. I love that. Whatever is the most important, that's great. Okay. So let's talk about the 4 financial documents. Okay. So the first one is your business budget. This is an important document. What is the budget? For example, what's the budget on your salaries? What's the budget on your marketing? What's the budget on your technology? Understanding what all those budgets are and putting a budget to it. Here's what you never want to do. You never want to have a business that runs on credit. Because then what you're doing, you're paying 10, 15, 20, 30% more than you need to because you're having to put on credit. Have a cash and carry business, and that takes you having a budget for each of those line items. The next one is having a balance sheet. Now, the balance sheet is a statement of the assets and liabilities and capital of a business at a particular point in time, detailing the balance of income and expenditure over a preceding period. So many agents don't understand their assets and their liabilities. These are so important, especially when it comes to taxes and understanding your taxation. Those are huge. Now, the next thing is what is called your income statement. That's also called a profit and loss statement. I know a lot of you guys have heard of that before, but a lot of you guys don't know actually what a profit and loss statement should look like. Basically, what that does, it's showing your revenues, expenses, and profitability over a period of time, usually monthly. So you get that P&L every month, and looking at that P&L does a couple things. First of all, it helps you make business decisions, as well as it helps you keep track of all your money, where it's going, that kind of thing. By the way, I do have a really nice short video on our YouTube channel that's all about how to make decisions using your P&L, how to make great business decisions using your P&L, especially for lead generation. I know it's kind of crazy. And then finally, you're going to have your cash flow statement. Now, this differs from other financial statements because it acts as a corporate checkbook that reconciles the other two statements: what's coming in, what's going out, what's coming in, what's going out. It records the company's transactions, the inflows and outflows during any given period. Now, by the way, there might be, hey, yeah, Barb, you're asking what the YouTube link is. We'll have, Robin, if you can go ahead and put that YouTube link in there. And by the way, we'll go ahead and put that on the Facebook group too, because a lot of people have been asking for that. Okay. Basically, in our business, for example, we use QuickBooks. Pretty simple. It has all of the tools that we need on that. You can do it with Excel spreadsheets. There are templates that you can have out there. We teach a couple of those templates in our programs, but basically there are places that you can get all of these particular tools. Okay. I gave you a lot there. Let's do a little Q&A. We got a few minutes here. Want to do some Q&A? What do you think? Do me that favor. What might be one big takeaway for you? Or if you've got a question, let's type in a question. Or what was your biggest aha? Type those into the chat for me. I would love to know what you guys kind of are thinking right now. What do you think? How's this going? Is it like, was this too much, like overwhelm, or was it good? Was it sinking in for you just a little bit? No, you're typing out there. I like it so much. Okay. I gave you a lot of homework too. So a lot of stuff going on. Okay. Do we have questions? You're furiously typing. Shannon says, I love the action plan, wildly important goal. I like that. Knowing your financial goals and what to do to achieve them, Linda says. Diana, great information, but somewhat overwhelming. I hear you, Diana, and it is. It's hard to do all of this kind of in 1 hour, but I'm going to solve that for you in just a minute, because I'm going to do a shameless plug. I hope you guys are okay with that. Okay. Yay. So I'm going to give you a shameless plug. No problem at all. So, you guys do me a favor. I am going to actually put the YouTube channel. I'm going to put it on the Facebook group. Is that okay with you guys? Because I want you guys to actually see everything. I'm going to put it on the Facebook group. Trina, just set up a call with Kole one-on-one. Thank you, Trina. We do that. Shameless plug. You need some help. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do the shameless plug. So here's the thing. You guys might have seen this before. On the Facebook group, you see members who are coming in and doing this. Trina is absolutely one of our members in our 12 weeks to breakthrough program. Here's the deal. It is a business planning boot camp for 12 solid weeks. And man, oh man, do we go into it in depth. Here's how it works, guys. So what's in it is, first of all, it's a 12-week training and coaching program. The thing is that a lot of you guys go to classes, and maybe it's a live class, right? And you furiously taking notes. And if you miss something, you're out of luck. And then after you take the class, you're up to yourself to be able to implement what you learned in that class. So here's how it is designed. There are modules. Every week is one module. And in each module, there are video lessons. They run anywhere between 5 minutes to, I think the longest is 37 minutes. Okay. Each week is about an hour's worth of watching of those videos, and there's homework in those. Every week, then you meet with one of our coaches who helps you individually implement what you are doing in your unique business. This is all about training and coaching specifically for you. I actually haven't been able to find anybody who's doing something similar to it. And I wrote it for experienced agents like you guys. Most companies out there, they've got the new agent training program, and it's really great for the newbies. And maybe the top producing agents, tippy top, they've got, the owners and things working with them. But I wrote this for you guys because this is what you guys are needing. So here's what is in the programs. We start off with mindset. Always an extremely important thing to start off with. Then we go deep dive into client acquisition strategies, big time in there. We talk about the 10X client experience. By the way, that is all about creating such an experience for their clients that they cannot help but refer you out. This is then articulating your value, really understanding how to articulate your value, taking control of your time. And this is where we put together our strategy and action plans. We deep dive into those during this point. We have your operational excellence. So we really look at your operations and we go, okay, here are all the pieces that should be a part of your operations. Now, after we have gone through client acquisition and the client experience and your strategies and action plans and operational excellence, then we deep dive into where you still might have some gaps so we can start charting where to fill in those gaps. Once we've done that, we create a growth plan. We help create a growth plan so you can grow even farther after the program. And then there's so much in this program. Wealth building is another really big piece that we talk about. My favorite topic. Love that. Guys, there's so much to it that it is specifically designed to give you a breakthrough. That's why our group is called Breakthrough RE for real estate. Breakthrough, and it's about creating a breakthrough. And that is my absolute obsession for you guys, is helping you create a breakthrough. So here's what I would suggest for you guys. Okay. Do me a favor. If this is something you want to do, or you'd simply like more information on, you may not even know if you want to do it or not. By the way, that's fine because we may not be a match for each other. That's okay. But do me a favor, go ahead and scan this QR code. When you scan this QR code, it's going to take you to my Calendly link, and you'll be able to set up an appointment for a strategy session with me. And what does that mean? We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about the biggest challenges you have in your business. And I'm just going to give you some insights as what I think might be helpful to them. And if we decide that maybe our program works for you, awesome. If we decide not, awesome. If the time is now, awesome. If it's not, awesome. It's all good. So if you can't do that Calendly link, what you can do is simply, or that QR code, you can go to my calendly.com/Kole-strategy-session. Love to sit down with you guys on that. Okay. By the way, Trina, I'm so glad you said this. She's saying, as far as our 12 weeks to breakthrough program, this is a really good class, not overwhelming. Plus you get to deep dive with Kole every week. Me or one of your other coaches. We have, by the way, we have coaches all over the country. So exciting. They're very, very cool people, every single one of them. By the way, if you are not a member of our Facebook group, please join our Facebook group. We'd love to see you there. So it is facebook.com/groups/breakthrough RE. Love it. By the way, I love that so many of you guys are on the call today. You're active in our Facebook group. We love that you're active in there. Feel free to use that as your community. Ask questions, share ideas. By the way, if you've got something that really happened great for you this week, brag. Share your successes. We love to celebrate those with you. So do all of that. We really, really love it. Okay. Robin, did I get everybody's questions? Did we cover everything in the chat?
Everything that I saw.
Okay. So next week, 11 a.m. on Wednesday, just like it is today. We do this every week, by the way, every week on Wednesday. We do it. We're going to deep dive into your path to profit numbers. So you want to have your 5 personal, that is your bills, your savings, your investment, your fun, and perhaps your charitable contributions. For your business, you want to have your net profit, your net income, your cost of sales, your expenses, and your reserves. Again, you can go back and watch the video, re-look at this kind of stuff. That's great. We'll be posting that on the group tomorrow. So you'll be able to get that link, which is great. And then if you know your conversion numbers, and that is from appointments to listings taken, from listings taken to closings. If you don't have those numbers, that's okay. I can give you generalized numbers, but if you do have those numbers, those percentages of times that those things happen, bring those with you. Okay. Wow. I got through it. I was thinking I was not going to make it all the way through, but I'm glad you did. You guys are amazing. As always, I so appreciate you. I love the time that we get to spend together each and every week. And I will see you next Wednesday. Or before then, if you want to set an appointment with me, feel free to do that. I'd love to chat with you just to get to know you too. So those are one of the things I love. All right, guys, we'll see you later.